set a lot of his base today after stating that he'd like to see Hakeem Jeffries Speaker of the House. Take a listen to this.
If Democrats win the midterms, do you want to see Leader Jeffries become the Speaker of the House?
Yes.
Okay. That was a firm, quick answer. So you leave plenty of time for my final answer.
Let me go back and give a
So he said it very abruptly, very quickly. A lot of people are upset because they're saying he's starting to walk back on some of his commitments and what he's promised. And the AOC-ification of Zohran Mamdani is beginning. This is just what a lot of people are on social media is saying. So this is coming from Dropsite News. Zohran Mamdani told NBC's Kristen Welker he wants Hakeem Jeffries to stay Democratic leader and become Speaker if Democrats win the House. On Friday, Jeffries was one of 86 Democrats who backed the GOP-led resolution condemning socialism. Mamdani has also opposed a fellow Democratic Socialist who was trying to primary challenge Jeffries. Mamdani's team stated that they didn't want to endorse that Democratic Socialist because the chances of him winning in the polls were looking really, really bad. So that was coming from a New York Times article on November 10th. That's where that information was coming from. What's interesting, and I share this because I've been seeing a lot of other people also share this, that seems to just be a little bit of walking back. Again, Zohran Mamdani in 2022 stated, after at least 2,251 Palestinians were killed over the course of July 14th, Hakeem Jeffries got on stage at a rally in New York City and paraphrased George Wallace, Israel today, Israel tomorrow, Israel forever. If Jeffries is considered a progressive, the term has lost its meaning. So regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, it's just kind of interesting to see what's going on the left here, because Zohran Mamdani is considered somebody that's very leftist, democratic socialist, but seemingly now supporting the mainstream Democrats, one that also didn't support him and didn't endorse him until it took a long time for Jeffries to get on the Mamdani bandwagon, and now seeing Mamdani wanting to stand by him is pretty interesting. So dude's setting fire to his support, and he's not even being inaugurated yet. Interesting. Somebody else also wrote a pretty good statement here that I thought I wanted to share with you guys. Here it is. Let me go ahead and share this tab. The AOC-ification of Zohran Mamdani has happened at lightning speed today, even without a moment's hesitation. Mamdani gave his unequivocal endorsement to Hakeem Jeffries for House Speaker if Democratic Party wins a majority in the midterms. Mamdani's full-throated support for Jeffries comes a scant 2 days after Jeffries was one of the 86 House Democrats to vote yes on a resolution to demonize and vilify the ideas of socialism. Again, so you can tell this is a very left-wing account here. Like my opponent, Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, Hakeem Jeffries has voted for tens of billions of dollars for the Israeli state's genocide in Gaza. He has voted to ban U.S. funding for United Nations food assistance to the Palestinians. Jeffries has gotten a whooping $1.5 million to date from the Israel lobby. And just like Adam Smith, Jeffries is a darling of the billionaires and multimillionaires who profit from health insurance corporations, for-profit hospitals, and sky-high pharmaceutical companies' costs. So, again, Hakeem Jeffries is very much so part of the establishment. Seeing Zohran Mamdani go from being somebody who is really outside of the establishment to being elected, and then immediately now starting to endorse the establishment politicians, seems like a slap in the face for these individuals that voted for him, expecting to get somebody out of the establishment. This is even happening to somebody who is a, democratic socialist, very much so on the left. It's how you see it happen time and time again to politicians on the right. It's like you take one step into being a politician, and I swear to God, it's like something happens to you overright, and all of a sudden you become part of the whole entire problem that you said you wanted to avoid and to change. Here's something also a little separate from that, but it was also part of the interview that's also getting a lot of traction, is they were just asking Zohran Mamdani again whether or not they think Trump is a fascist. So let's just go ahead and play that, because it's an interesting just clip.
President Trump sort of jumped in and he said, quote, "That's okay. You can just say yes. It's easier than explaining it." So, Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do.
And that's something that I've said in the past. I say it today. And I think what I appreciated about the conversation that I had with the president was that we were not shy about the places of disagreement about the politics that has brought us to this moment. And we also wanted to focus on what it could look like to deliver on a shared analysis of an affordability crisis for New Yorkers.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe. And that's the thing that I think is important in our politics, is that we don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table. Because I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers. And a few weeks ago, I was asked by a reporter 3 words to describe myself. I said, New York City. And that's what animated that conversation. How do we deliver for the people of New York City?
So what I will say, honestly, Zohran Mamdani is a good speaker, regardless of how I feel about his politics. The guy speaks well. Trump's even said it himself to his own staff at the White House. I believe the Washington Post reported on that. Behind closed doors, some of his staff anonymously said that he really likes the way he speaks. He's a good speaker. And he does do a really good job, I think better than most politicians, when it comes to being asked a question and reverting it right back to New York City. He does a really, really good job at making sure he sticks focus on what he's been elected for. Now, we'll see how that actually translates when he's the mayor. But it is interesting. It is a really good skill set to have, and it's pretty difficult for a lot of politicians. They kind of get swayed pretty easily. So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to share is just again regarding the AOCification of this. Again, it's been, let's see here. Let me go ahead and share my screen here and just show you what a few other people are saying. I think he has to play the game if he wants his vision to become reality. I'm just going to trust the process. I feel like a lot of people have also said that with Trump's agenda as well. What tends to happen is that when you become a politician also, and there is something important about coalition building. You can't just go into politics and push for policies that you want without having an entire coalition of representatives that are going to vote on your bill. So that is something that is very true. When you are a politician and you're trying to push legislation forward and you're trying to bring bills forward, you have to get people on your side. So that's expected. So you're going to have to try to work with others and try to negotiate with others. That's just part of the political process. Now, what happens to a lot of politicians is in the midst of this sort of negotiating and working with other politicians, you very quickly go from negotiating and working to just being somebody that goes with the wind and taking the most money and just kind of being a mouthpiece for whoever backs you the most. And that's where it goes from actually being somebody who's working back and forth to push legislation forward to just being a mouthpiece for the biggest backer. So we'll see how things unfold moving forward. We'll see how his base feels about it moving forward as well, and if he'll continue to stay in alignment with his agenda. He really hasn't started yet, so it's too early to tell. Ultimately, if you found this video interesting, go ahead and click the subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate it, and give it a thumbs up as well. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.